Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shawnee ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is natural silk versus artificial fibers. So today we will perform an experiment and see how we can differentiate between natural silk and other artificial fibers. So the aim of the experiment would be to to differentiate between natural silk. We will be differentiating natural silk and other artificial fibers. Okay, so this is the aim of the experiment. Now let's see what is the principle behind the experiment. Okay, so let's talk about the principle. Okay, so natural fibers are those the natural fibers are those that are obtained from these fibers are obtained from plants or animals. Okay, for example natural silk, wool, cotton, etc. Okay, so these are natural fibers. So natural silk is a type of natural fiber because we obtain silk from the silk moth called Bombyx mori. Okay, then what are artificial fibers? Artificial fibers are those that are man made. Okay, they are man made fibers, or we can also call them synthetic fibers. So they are not obtained naturally, but they are artificially created by man. For example, rayon, which is also known as artificial silk. Okay, so there is rayon, nylon, etc. Okay, these are the examples of artificial fiber. Okay, and now we can differentiate between natural and other artificial fibers by the the characteristics like the property of burning. Okay, the property of burning of the fibers and their smell. These two properties help to distinguish or differentiate. They help to differentiate natural fibers or natural silk. In this case, they help to differentiate natural silk from other artificial fibers. So the property of burning, that is how long does the fiber burn on coming across with the flame. Okay, this property and the smell that it gives out upon burning, these two characteristics help us to differentiate natural silk or natural fibers from other artificial fibers. Okay, so this is the principle behind our experiment. Let's look at the materials that are required for performing the experiment. Materials required. Okay, so what are the materials required? Let's see. So we would require 1 inch cross 1 inch of cloth samples, of cloth samples, and these cloth samples would be of natural silk, natural silk, there would be wool, nylon, rayon. Okay, so these are the cloth samples that we would need. We would need a candle, we would need forceps, etc. Okay, so these are the materials that we would need for this experiment. Now let's see how do we perform this experiment. So let's discuss about the procedure. Okay, so let's see how to perform this experiment. So edge of each piece, edge of each piece of cloth sample, we have different cloth samples with us, which is of 1 inch cross 1 inch. Okay, so these, each of these cloth sample, we need to hold the edge of each of the cloth samples should be held, should be held with the help of, with the help of forceps over what? Over the flame of burning candle. Okay, so because we would be differentiating the natural silk from other artificial fibers by its property of burning and the smell that it produces upon burning, right? So we would hold each of the piece of cloth sample with the help of forceps over the flame of burning candle, and further we would note down our observations. Observations should be noted down. Okay, this is how we would perform the experiment. Okay, now let's see what are the observations we would find. So observations of these experiment. Okay, so first cloth sample we would consider is the natural silk. Okay, and the characteristic would be on burning. Okay, so on burning, what happens? Natural silk burns, but but it stops burning, it stops burning as soon as removed from the flame. It stops burning on removing from the flame. So as soon as the fiber, that is the natural silk, is removed from the flame, the burning stops in case of natural silk. Now let's see what kind of smell it gives out. So there is no strong odor. Okay, there is no strong odor. It gives out the smell of, it gives out the smell of, the smell of what? Of burning hair. Okay, so this is the observation we can note down in case of natural silk. Next, let's look what happens with the next fiber that we had, that is wool. So what happens in case of wool on burning? Wool is also a natural fiber. Okay, wool is obtained from the fleece of animals like sheep, goat, etc. Okay, so wool on burning, it burns at first, but this stops burning. It stops burning on removing from the flame. Okay, so this is similar to the case of natural silk, because both of them, that is natural silk as well as wool, are natural fibers. So the burning property is the same. Let's see what the smell is. So wool also gives out the smell of, it gives out the smell of burning hair, of burning hair. Okay, then let's talk about the next fiber, that is artificial silk. Artificial silk, and that is rayon. So what happens on burning? So on burning, what happens is it continues burning even on being, it continues burning even on being removed from the flame, even on being removed from flame. So even when we remove rayon from the flame, it keeps on burning because it is artificial fiber, that is artificial silk. And what kind of smell it gives out? It gives out the smell of, it gives out the smell of burning paper. Okay, whereas the natural silk gave the smell of burning hair. Okay, then let's talk about the next fiber, that is nylon. So on burning, what happens? On burning, it melts. Okay, so nylon melts on burning. Nylon is also an artificial fiber. Okay, it is man-made, and the smell that it gives out is, it has characteristic a characteristic odor is given out by nylon. Okay, so these are the observations we can note down. And then let's talk about the results now. So what are the results we have got? We have seen that the natural fibers, or in the aim we had mentioned natural silk. Natural silk is a natural fiber. We have also considered another natural fiber, that is wool. So what happened? They stop burning, they stop burning on removing them from what? From the flame, and they give out the smell of burning hair. Okay, so this is the result. Now what happens to the case of artificial fiber? Artificial fibers, here we had considered rayon and nylon. So what happened? They continue to burn even after removing even after removing from the flame, even after removing from the flame, or they even they can even melt, right? So we have seen that nylon even melts. And okay, this was the case of burning, and we can say that they have a characteristic odor, that is nylon has a characteristic odor, okay, and rayon has the smell of what? It has the smell of burning paper. Okay, these are the results, right? Now what we can conclude? So let's talk about conclusion. So what we can conclude by this? We can conclude that natural silk stops burning upon being removed, when it is removed from the flame, and it gives out the smell of, what is the smell? It is the smell of burning hair. So when we get the smell of burning hair upon the fiber being burnt, then we can conclude that it is a natural fiber, or it is natural silk. Okay, so natural silk is a natural fiber. Then we can also conclude that artificial fibers continue to burn even after being removed, even when they are removed, even after being removed from the flame, and they have a characteristic odor. For example, rayon has, or rayon gives out the smell of, smell of what? Smell of burning paper. Whereas the natural silk or natural fibers do not have any strong odor that is present in case of artificial fibers. Okay, so let's now quickly revise everything that we have covered today. So today we have seen an experiment. We have talked about an experiment where, with the help of which we can differentiate between natural silk and other artificial fibers. So this was the aim of the experiment. So what was the principle? We know that natural fibers are those fibers which are obtained from plants or animals. For example, natural silk, wool, cotton, etc. So natural silk is obtained from silk moth. Wool is obtained from the fleece of animals like sheep, goats, etc. Cotton is obtained from cotton plants or cotton trees. Okay. Then artificial fibers are man-made fibers or synthetic fibers. They are not obtained naturally, but they are artificially created. For example, rayon, which is also known as artificial silk, nylon, etc. So the characteristics like the property of burning of the fibers, that is the burning of the artificial as well as natural fibers, and the smell that they give out upon burning, help us to differentiate natural silk or natural fibers from other artificial fibers. So what are the materials that were required to perform the experiment? We required 1 cross 1 inch of cloth samples of natural silk, wool, nylon, rayon, candle, forceps, etc. So, how to perform the experiment? So, each piece of the cloth sample should be held with by its edge over the flame of burning candle, and then the observations should be noted down. We have noted down our observations. So, what happens? Natural silk on burning, it first burns, but it stops burning on removing from the flame. And what kind of smell is produced? There is no strong odor, okay, and it gives out the smell of burning hair. Then wool is also a natural fiber, so on burning it first burns but stops burning on removing from the flame, and it gives out the smell of burning hair. So both of the natural fibers, that is natural silk and wool, give out the smell of burning hair, and they stop burning when they are removed from the flame. Then the artificial silk, that is rayon, on burning it continues to burn, it continues burning even on being removed from the flame, and the smell that it produces is of burning paper. So the smell of burning paper is produced from rayon. Then in case of nylon, on burning nylon it completely melts, and the smell, it has a characteristic odor. So in case of artificial fibers, that is rayon and nylon, we can see that they completely either melt completely or they continue burning even on being removed from the flame, and they have characteristic strong odor, that is rayon has the smell of burning paper whereas nylon has a characteristic odor. So we found the results that the natural fiber, that is natural silk and wool, they stop burning when they are removed from the flame, and they give out the smell of burning hair. And natural silk, as we already discussed, it has no strong odor, whereas artificial fibers like rayon and nylon, they continue to burn even after they are removed from the flame. Some of them even melt, like nylon, it completely melts. So and the smell was, nylon had a characteristic odor whereas rayon had the smell of burning paper. So we concluded that natural silk always stops burning upon being removed from the flame, and it has no strong odor and gives out the smell of burning hair, whereas artificial fibers continue to burn even after being removed from the flame, and they have a characteristic odor. For example, rayon has the odor of burning paper. Okay, so I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.